Cool. All right. In this video, it's a little different than what I normally do. I usually just react, talk about a show, movie, anime, might react over a fight. This, we're not necessarily reacting over this scene. We're going to break it down as well. From a director's standpoint, mind you, I did learn this in class. So credit to, my teacher. I don't his mind's blanking me, but he was like the directing two teacher. His name's blanking me. Adam. I want to say his name's Adam, maybe. But anyways, it's been about a year since I took that class, so I'm going to kind of what he spoke on more on acting, but I'm also going to kind of tell you stories, why things happen, why certain angles or shots are chosen, and what the point of it is. So we're going to break this down completely. But I think what I'll do is I will go through the full scene, we'll watch it, and then I will break it down. Because I don't think just me breaking it down right off the rack is going to help any. I think if we watch it fully first, then break it down, I think that may be more helpful. So we're going to do that. Add the captions on as well. This is a very powerful movie, by the way. Not even just the horror of it, just the story of man, good movie, great movie.
You okay, Mom?
Oh, the captions are terrible.
What?
Is there something on your mind?
Is there something on your mind?
Just seems like there might be something you want to say.
Peter.
Like what? I mean, why would I want to say something so I could watch you sneer at me?
Sneer at you? I don't ever sneer at you.
Oh, sweetie, you don't have to. You get your point across.
Okay, so fine, then say what you want to say then.
Peter.
I don't want to say anything. I've tried saying
Okay, so
things.
try again. Release yourself.
Oh, release you mean?
Yeah, fine, release me. Just say it. Just fucking say it.
Don't you swear at me, you little shit! Don't you ever raise your voice at me! I am your mother! Do you understand? All I do is worry and slave and defend you, and all I get back is that fucking face on your face! So full of disdain and resentment and always so annoyed. Well, now your sister is dead. And I know you miss her. And I know it was an accident, and I know you're in pain, and I wish I could take that away for you. I wish I could shield you from the knowledge that you did what you did, but your sister is dead. She is gone forever. And what a waste. If it could have maybe brought us together or something. If you could have just said, I'm sorry, or faced up to what happened. Maybe then we could do something with this, but you can't take responsibility for anything. So now I can't accept, and I can't forgive. Because nobody admits anything they've done.
What about you, Mom? She didn't want to go to the party. So why was she there?
All right, we're stopping this right now. Zach? I said stop right now.
Fine.
Fine.
Powerful scene. Like I said, I don't think nothing else happens in the scene. Cool. Very powerful scene. There's a lot to compact in this scene. What I think will be best is to just start section by section. What makes this scene powerful? I want to say 2 to 3 things, possibly. One, for sure, if you watch the movie, it's powerful because you already knew what happened. You already seen what happened, and this is going to be some spoilers. If you have not seen this movie, there will be spoilers because I have to explain these things. One, what makes this powerful is that obviously the daughter dies. The daughter, which is she's the mom, the daughter, but also he's the mom's son, so his sister is gone, right? Dad is also in the family too. He's gone. She's gone, and because of this tragedy, this family is not together. Mind you, the family already kind of on their own thing. They do their own thing as a family already as it is. They're not really, they talk and stuff like that, but they're not really a bonded family like these movies that the comedies, the adventures, they do all that. They're not like that. They are separate, all individuals in this family. Because of that, you have this time when they got to eat, they got to be a family. When they're forced to be this way, you still see the separateness. You see that they are all individuals still, which makes it quiet, right? Makes it quiet. The ominous, still a thriller, right? What's about to happen next? We know what he wants, and in every scene, there has to be a want. Okay, there has to be a want. There has to be a main character in every scene. Now, you can argue that he's the main character in this scene. You can argue that the mom is the main character in this scene. Because usually somebody has a want and you want to achieve that, right? And the reason why I say that some can argue the mom is a scene because there might be a sense that you can say that she has a want and even though it's not as noticeable, I will break down the mom as well, but even though it's not noticeable, it's still there, right? In this sense, I'm going to start off with as if he is the main character. This guy this boy, he's the main character and he has a want. What is his want? He wants his mom to address the situation. He asks, Mom, is there anything you want to say, right? And when he does this, he's trying to get that out of her. Now, before I kind of break down each individual character, I hope I'm not bouncing around too many places. I don't think I finished the answer of the 3 things as far as why this scene is so powerful. I don't think I finished that. One, obviously, like I was saying, is that the backstory, not just what's been happening up to this point within the movie. Obviously, the daughter's gone, right? Cool. Very powerful moments bring very powerful scenes later down the line, especially if you already know what happens. That's number 1. Number 2, what can also make certain scenes powerful is the story of that scene, not just the story of the full movie. The story of that scene. I said the backstory, yes, which kind of relates to things. You could put the dots together. Basically, that's number 1. Number 2 is you can kind of put these two together. Is the story, but also the color, the look, right? What are you doing in the scene? The creation of it. I wish my mouse would show me making the circles and stuff, but you see this and you kind of get the sense of feel. It's the emotion, basically. Number 2 would be also the emotion, kind of, that you're getting. Now, both of these go into number 3. Number 3 is the most important one, I would say, and this is for every movie, every TV show, every anime, anything. You know what I'm saying? Anything that you watch. And that number 3 is the action. The acting, in a sense. The acting, right? There's some great acting happening in here. This is what my teacher was telling me, is that when we notice, is what's the first thing you notice in this? That should be the action, the acting. I keep saying action, the acting. First thing that you should notice, the first thing that caught your attention should be the acting. Quiet. It comes off in here as quiet. He's there. What is he doing? What is going on? If you do not watch anything else, if you're watching this scene, you want to know what is about to happen. Cool. As it leads into it, it gets powerful and powerful. The mom, great acting. This is a great acting from her. And when she does this, she kills it. All right, that pain, that emotion, that feeling, you are getting it, whether you have been through it, lived through it, or you haven't done anything at all. It's the fact that she's able to get that emotion from you, whether you, what are those two words? You sympathize or empathize, whether you are sympathizing for her or empathizing for her, meaning whether you lived through it or you didn't live through it, but you feel her pain, that is called acting. And that is what she did. That is the three things that make this scene most powerful. Or if you want to add however many things I just mentioned, whatever, that is what makes it so powerful. Now that you know this, okay, I'm going to start off with breaking down the acting. Okay, and then after I break down the acting, we're going backwards. We're going 1, 3, 2, because I actually did number 1 already, gave you the backstory. Cool. Now we're going to break down the acting. After that, we will go through the color, the look, and just the atmosphere of it and why certain shots are done. I think that should be last. All right, just because that's more technical. Let's keep it going. Keep it interesting. We'll calm it down in the end. Right, the acting. So let's go through this. Right. In this scene, we are going to start with him as far as his acting. So we're going to only watch his coverage. Okay. Starting off with him. He's watching her, right? He's watching her. He has a want. Remember, he has a want. His want is that he wants to get her to answer, to respond to the situation. How does he do that? Watch what he does. Let's see his movements and see why and how does he get her to do it. All right? Right now, nothing's happening. He looks at her. She doesn't look back.
You okay, Mom?
Boom. He looked at her. Nothing happened. So, and most likely, I don't know if this is what the director did, but if I was and I am a director, and if I was directing this film, when I got this scene, I would have told him pulled him to the side and said, you need to get her to respond to you. You need to get her to look at you. You need to get her to answer you, to say something. You need to get her, make her give a response. I don't care how you do it, but you need to do it. Cool. His first thought, okay, let me try looking at her. You know, in human society, when you look at somebody, especially if you stare at them, most likely they will stare back. It's only two options. They will stare back or they feel your presence and they don't stare. He started with staring at her. Didn't do anything. Cool. Next, option number 2 is to ask her something. And what does he do? He asks, are you okay? Let's keep going. Boom. What did he get from her? He got her to look up. She didn't look up the whole time until now. All right. We are already 18 seconds into the scene. It took, and mind you, in scenes, because scenes can, yes, they can go from ranges of lengths. But obviously, this is a dinner scene. It's only 3 minutes. It's a 3-minute scene. So out of 3 minutes, 18 seconds is kind of a lot, all right, to shoot and to cover. And it took her 18 seconds to get there. But we are here now. Cool. She looks up. We'll see what happens next.
What?
She answers. Now what is his next
Something on
one?
your mind?
Remember, his one is that he wants her to answer. So he's trying to keep asking her these questions, trying to get her to respond.
Is there something on your mind?
Boom. Now, this is what we call when a main character has a want and the challenge, the obstacle the main character has. Because obviously it's not easy to get a want, all right? In movies, TV shows, everything, there's a goal. There's a goal throughout the whole movie. That main character is trying to get to this goal. There's going to be things in his way, his or her way, and they have to figure out how to overcome those and get their want. It's not, first off, when he first looked at her, stared at her, didn't get anything. Cool. Moved on to the next thing. Now he's asking her something. She's deflecting. She's trying to change the conversation, figure out something out, make him answer something. So now we have to see what he does next.
Just seems like there might be something you want to say.
Peter.
Like what? Why would I want to say something so I could watch you sneer at me.
Sneer at you? I don't ever sneer at you.
Oh, sweetie, you don't have to. You get your point across.
Okay, so fine, then say what you want to say then.
Hey,
Still
Dad.
pushing.
I don't want to say anything. I've tried saying
Okay, so
things.
try again, release yourself.
There it is.
Oh,
Do it
release
again.
you, you mean?
Yeah, fine, release me. Just say it. Just fucking say it.
Boom. It wasn't working. Him just keep asking her over and over. He had to get aggressive. There was no other way to get her to respond because he had to. That was the only way to get aggressive, and that's okay. Sometimes you have to get aggressive. Obviously, you know, as actors and directors, when we're talking to the actors, we don't want you to just yell all the time. We don't want you to just yell. We don't want you to scream. We don't want you to, you know what I'm saying, all this dramatic stuff right off the bat. Cool. You have to find a way to get to that point. Sometimes that's the only way to do things. In this case, that is the only way he could get her to respond is he has to yell. Cool, he does it.
Don't you swear at me, you little shit!
Boom. This whole time, this is what he wanted. He wanted her to get to this point. And we get to this point. All right? She has her monologue. He's staring the whole time. Great coverage, by the way. I'm most likely, you know, in this, they shot his coverage looking at him this way and had her just yell at him the whole time. Oh man, look at by the way, just the look. This is what we're going over next though, but the look, the bags under the eyes, you know what I'm saying, kind of can see the watery. Obviously not crying, but you can see this sense. He has to hold it in. He's staring. He's listening. That's what we get the whole time. All right? Let's see what else happens. Now that he got that, right? His want was to her to respond, but because of what she's saying, right? And this goes to part one as far as the backstory. He's about to explain to her the story, and then I'm going to do a little spoiler. They go to he originally wants to go to a party, right? His mom tells obviously he lies, you know, teenagers lie, they're not going to tell you to go to a party because, you know, drinking, drugs, stuff like that. So he's telling her it's a school thing. Because his mom thinks it's a school thing, she's like, okay, we'll take your sister with you. Sister doesn't want to go in the first place. Still has to take her, and she ends up getting allergic reaction. He tries to rush her to the hospital. She can't breathe. She tries to get air. Hair comes clean off. She runs into a pole while she's leaning out of the thing. Very, very traumatic, and they show it. It's crazy. Anyways, he wants his want is for her to respond to the situation, and she does respond, but the answer was not enough because she's basically deflecting as far as saying it's not his fault. It did not bring us together, and it's even though it's not your fault, you don't take blame or you don't take responsibility, right? She's deflecting and throwing it all on him. Mind you, she never takes responsibility of it. He wants her to respond to it in a sense of the responsibility, the blame, the reason of all of this, right? Of the whole situation. Now, because of that, because she never answers that, and his want is not fully completed, this is what he does.
What about you, Mom? She didn't want to go to the party. So why was she there?
All right, we're stopping this right now. Set.
Boom. It doesn't go back to him, right? That was his last thing that he says. Why was she there? He got her to look. He got her to create emotion off of that question. And she leaves. She leaves the scene. He gets what he wants in this scene. Even though she never answered never answered the question, he gets his point across, and he gets his one. Now, that is why you would say he's the main character in the scene. Full main character in a full movie. Unfortunately, actually, believe it or not, I actually have not seen the end of this movie, so I don't know. I've seen up to actually here, if I'm not mistaken. Might have seen a little more. Don't know. But I can still breaking down the scene, you do not have to see the movie to break down the scene. We were able to break down the scene in class, and I never saw the movie. Obviously, I watched it after breaking that down in class, but I never watched the movie before that, and I was still able to understand every single thing, because every scene, that's the way Hollywood created it. And obviously, I can go on a tangent, influencers, young filmmakers now, we're trying to break the scheme of Hollywood. But at the end of the day, you still have to create these are basically implanted, these are molded concepts of filmmaking, whether even though Hollywood created, these are molded concepts that just have to be in a movie, in a show, in anything. A want has to be in there. You cannot make a film, it would make no sense. A want has to be in there. So even no matter what, I can go to any scene and look at the scene, watch the scene, and still be able to break it down to you, just because there's certain things that have to be in it for it to work, for it to be good. You know what I'm saying? So cool. We broke down his character. We get it now, right? So obviously we still have to break down the look of his character. So we'll go back. First thing, what do we see in this moment? Okay, he has a lot of headspace at the top. The director decided to, he wanted a lot of headspace for him. Okay, we see the background. We see the living room. Okay, and he's playing with his food, not necessarily eating it. Let's continue to watch more. He's not eating, playing with his food. A lot of headspace right here. This could be skeptical. Obviously, I'm not the director, not the writer. I could be wrong,
Mom?
but this is what we see.
What?
Is there something on your mind?
Okay. For the most part,
Is there something on your
the
mind?
frame stays the same. If I'm not
Snare
mistaken.
you? I don't ever snare.
Let me look at this. Between this one, yeah, the frame stays the same. Frame is the same. Okay. Now, when we go here, boom. Why did we get closer? Two reasons that I can kind of give you why most likely we got closer. One, show the face. Okay, show the emotion. Show what we are witnessing. But not only are we noticing that we are closer in, we're also at a higher angle. It looks like that we're looking down on him, right? Which means this is from the point of view of the mother looking down because of the not necessarily belittling, but like the moment where she is taking over the power of the scene and expressing her emotions and, basically speaking down to him. Those are two reasons so far. Actually, I have a third reason. But, okay, so first, show the face, show the emotion, cool. The high angle of the mom speaking down on him. But the third, remember how I spoke about the framing? A lot of headspace, right? No headspace. Why is that? A lot of headspace. He still hasn't gotten his want. He has not got his want. He was the driver for the daughter when she died. Could this headspace be that much guilt? Could that be the guilt above him weighing on him over his head? Could that be? If that is the case, when we cut here, this is where he's starting to get his want. No more guilt. Is there any more guilt? Does he feel like now he's giving the guilt to his mother? That is what we can assume when we are breaking down, when we are noticing this scene, watching this scene, and seeing the transition. Mind you, we never get that headspace again. Through that whole time, we never get that headspace again. And it might even look like from here to here, that might be stretching it. I think the headspace might still be the same, but we never get that. Okay, we never get that headspace again. Cool. That is the 3 pieces that, like I said, of the powerful scene that I just did for just him. I'm gonna keep going. Obviously, you know, this video is very long. You already got one sense of it. If you'd like more, continue watching. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel, you know, follow all social media pages, and, you know, leave comments down below of what you believe, how you feel, and obviously the pieces of like reactions. You know, like if you have any other reaction videos you want me to do, movies, TV shows, animes, so on and so forth, scenes, even scenes like I'm doing now. Cool, we done this. Now, let's go to the mom. This is her first frame. We're gonna start with her acting. This is if we want to assume that she's the main character. Obviously, even if not assuming that she's the main character, just the acting. We just want to go over her acting, right? And how powerful her acting is what makes this scene so great. Okay? So, start off with her here. All right? If she has a want, like I said, the argument, if she has a want, it would be that she even says it, she wants the family to take responsibility, which kind of pushing it over to that she wants the son to take responsibility of the death and she'll accept him. He doesn't do that though, but kind of what she wants, right? Cool. So we'll just watch her acting again.
You okay, Mom?
What?
Is there something on your mind?
Is there something on your mind?
Let's look at that
Just
again.
seems like they're...
Is there something on your mind?
Here, when she changes that face, that emotion, she's kind of curious, questioning, what is he doing? She might even know what he's doing or thinks she knows what he's doing, and now she's trying to put it on him, right? She's trying to push it onto him, get him to answer, get him to say what he wants to say. Where's this going? She wants to find out, so she continues.
Just seems like there might be something you want to say.
One thing I do want to go back on him, right? So far, if we look, he never takes a bite, right? Obviously, we assume they're eating. He never takes a bite. What good acting he does.
Just seems like they're...
That motion right there. When you do that motion, obviously humans can tell, you know, when you do, like, if they've had this experience, they do that, something might be stuck in their teeth, they have food in their mouth, they're eating. He does this, and I think that's great acting because it makes me feel like he's actually eating the food. They're at dinner, he's eating. Yes, we see the atmosphere, you know, we see the plates, the food, and stuff like that. But as I'm breaking this down, if you are watching this with me, it kind of feels like, okay, we're breaking this down. We're with them. We're sitting right next to them. We're on set, and we're seeing them act. And this might not even feel real to you no more. But when you notice those pieces of acting, when you're watching it, it makes it so real. He does this. I'm thinking they really having dinner. This is really something that's happening. You know what I'm saying? But he never bites. He never takes a bite. He never eats anything. Obviously, he might have some of this food. He could have took a bite, like in a different clip. Because mind you, they've shot this. Who knows how many times they shot this? You know, unless we actually asked them and find out, though. But they could have shot this multiple times. And he could have still had food from the last time they shot it. So you never know. But I just wanted to mention that out there. That is a great action within his acting that he did really well. Going back
to something you want to say.
Yeah. Like what? I mean, why would I want to say something so I could watch you sneer at me?
Sneer at you? I don't ever sneer at you.
Oh, sweetie, you don't have to. You get your point across.
Okay, so fine, then say what you want to say then.
Peter.
I don't.
One thing I do think, and this is okay because of how powerful her acting is when she stands up, I do think he is doing a lot better acting eating. I know I keep going back to this. He's doing a lot better with the acting of fake eating the food than she is. Because as you can see, maybe it's because he keeps his hand lower, so the fork's lower at the plate, so we don't really, not doing too much movement with the fork, but when he does, it's throwing the fork out like, you know, like he's doing like this, like, and he's using that to get his point across. But with her, I mean, we see this, we watch it.
I don't ever sneer you.
Oh, sweetie, you don't have to. You get your point across.
Okay, so
Like, look,
fine,
you
then
see
say what
this?
you want to say then.
Peter.
Can I get more of
Is there
it?
something on your mind?
Like, she's just fake tapping it, you know what I'm saying? And it's just
Just
not
seems like
doing
there
it.
might be something you want to say.
Peter.
Like what? I mean, why would I want to say something
You know
so
what
I
I'm
could
saying?
watch you
So that's
sneer
just
at me?
like, granted, obviously they're having a conversation, right? Nervous, so many different emotions could be going on right now. It could be fake. But as I'm watching, you know, something small I noticed. Could have been better ways to handle with the fork. I don't nitpick though as a director. I want you to know that now. Any actors that's watching this, you know, and for when I do have these big films and work like that, that will 100%. I am not mad that this happened. I will never be mad that this happens. Why? Because this is not important. This is me breaking it down to you. As we break down the scene, we notice things, right? This is just us breaking it down. We notice things. But when you watch this movie, you were never talking about, oh, the way she plucks her fork. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's never going to happen. And anybody that does that, bro, stop watching movies. Stop watching TV. You find a new hobby. That's insane. Why are you doing that? I'm doing this because I'm breaking it down and I'm noticing these things. But that's not important at all. Mind you, even though I just said that he's acting better as far as fake eating, she's the better actor in this entire scene. She kills this scene. And her acting is what makes this scene. Granted, obviously you needed the son's acting to get her to this point, but she kills it and delivers. So, I just wanted to bring that up though, but yeah, let's keep going.
Sneer at you? I don't ever sneer you.
Oh, sweetie, you don't have to. You get your point across.
Okay, so fine, then say what you want to say then.
Peter.
I don't want to say anything. I've tried saying
Okay, so
things.
try again. Release yourself.
Oh, release you mean?
Yeah, fine. Release me. Just say it. Just fucking.
I didn't even realize the dialogue in this. Mind you, dialogue is very important too, right? Dialogue is important. But that actually ties into what I was saying with the guilt. We see that headspace of him, right? She's saying, release you. So you want me to release you? You want me to release you of that guilt? He said, yes, release me. When that finally happens, you see the headspace is gone. The guilt is gone. He feels less guilty. He might still feel guilty, but he feels less guilty. She released him from that. She did give him that. And that's what he wants, right? That is what he wanted for this entire scene. Release me of this guilt. Tell me it's not my fault. Tell me that everything will be okay. You know what I'm saying? Be a mom. You feel me? And in a sense, you can, now that I think about it, and as I'm watching, like I said, the more you watch scenes and you break them down, the more other options and real things you realize what could have possibly been the idea of the writer and director when they created this story, right? Now that I'm thinking about this, did he really even get what he wanted? Let's just say if he wanted to be released, he wanted to be told that it's not his fault, everything will be okay. He never gets that. Maybe she released some of the guilt, cool. But she never said it wasn't his fault. She does say that, but she doesn't mean that. Because she even says, take responsibility. Why would somebody tell you that's not your fault, but take responsibility? You know what I'm saying? So in this sense, he might not have ever got what he wanted, depending on who you ask. He wanted to be released. Yeah, maybe he got released a little bit, but not completely. He still feels guilty. She still makes it to where he should feel guilty. And that could even be why he still has a little bit of headspace. Obviously, the headspace is closing, but it's not gone. So, you know, as I watch this more and more, you know, I start realizing other things. So, but we're going to keep going as far as her acting, like I said.
Don't you swear at me, you little shit!
Boom. Stands up, power pose, pointing, you know what I'm saying? Strength. Yes, she has to project, if you want to say yell, but projecting, you know, and getting her point across.
Don't you ever raise your voice at me! I am your mother! Do you understand? All I do is worry and slave and defend you. And all I get back is that fucking face on your face. So full of disdain and resentment and always so annoyed. Well, now your sister is dead. And I know you miss her. And I know it was an accident. And I know you're in pain. And
That is good acting. I'm sorry I cut that off a little bit. Now, a few things I want to mention. One, the facial expressions, great. Cool. The pause in dialogue. I know your sister is dead. Pause. That is a big, strong moment. You know what I'm saying? Dead. Cool. You need to get that space. You need to let the audience soak that in. Then also going from the yelling to kind of easing it in, still getting your point across, not yelling, having the conversation. That is good. That's good transition, right? Also, what I do want to add, I wonder, you know, can I get that a moment again? Is it here?
And all I get back is that fucking face on your face.
I wonder if they wrote that. I know I'm a little off topic though, but I wonder if they wrote that or did she just say that? And they said, yeah, we're keeping that. It worked out, right? Just curious.
I wish I could shield you from the knowledge that you did what you did, but your sister is dead. She is gone forever. And what a waste. If it could have maybe brought us together or something. If you could have just said, I'm sorry, or faced up to what happened. Maybe then we could do something with this, but you can't take responsibility for anything. So now I can't accept. And I can't forgive. Because nobody admits anything they've done!
She didn't want to go to the party. So why was she there?
All right, we're stopping this right now. Said. I said stop right now.
Fine. Fine.
She walks off. And that is her scene. Beautiful. She kills it. Right? Now, as far as, like I said, the look, the headspace, hers is a little different, right? We start with this. The headspace, cool. All right. She stays there. It doesn't change until she stands up. She loses that headspace. Could it mean that she felt guilty? Maybe she felt guilty. She had the headspace guilty. When she stands up, she doesn't feel that guilty anymore. She's throwing all the guilt to him. Could be. Maybe because we're not in either one's head, right? So even if we're not in either one's head, they both could have felt less guilty. She could have felt less guilty by getting up, throwing it at him. He felt less guilty by getting her to say all that. Could be. Her headspace is a little different, like I said. It doesn't really change or show. We see all this. It gets tighter and tighter. Also could be because of the emotions, the actions. Her doing all of this, right? That could be all of that. You know what I'm saying? We get back to her here. These are the exact same frames, other than this one, that we've seen the whole time. Only time it changes, she gets up, she walks off, right? I'm going to get to this. This will be the last thing I get to, though, because there's a reason why. This is not necessarily for her. There's a reason why we see this last. Cool? Okay. Last but not least, because I haven't talked about him the whole time, maybe a little bit, is the dad. The dad has a very important piece in this scene, too, right? We don't see him a lot, but when we do, if I can find him, he's here, right? We get him at this frame.
Say what you want to say then.
Peter.
I don't
We
want to
have him
say
looking
anything. I've
back and
tried.
forth. Him looking back and forth is because he's in the middle between the two. And that also has to do with the blocking, like I said, I'll get at the end. The blocking at the end. Him, in which, because it ties in with him as well. Him going back and forth, looking at both of them, because he has to choose a side. He has to pick a side. You know? Neutral in the beginning. He's looking back and forth, and he's trying to pick a side. He says Peter. He looks at Peter, the son, right? He's choosing the mom's side right now. But does he have to be on the mom's side the entire scene? He doesn't. And we see that slowly as he kind of goes into Peter's side. So boom, we're here. She's yelling.
Face on your face. So.
Now look at his emotion. He didn't have this in the beginning, right? When he first looked at him, when I find it. He had this face. He's just like, hey, guys, calm down. Now we're here, right? There's no calming down no more. This is like, depending on what you want to say as far as his emotion, how he feels towards the mother, whatever negative emotion you want to give, or it doesn't have to be negative, whatever emotion you want to give. Now, is he still on the mom's side? How can you really be on the mom's side when you're yelling at your kid like this? Blaming your kid. You know what I'm saying? Cool, we go here.
You can't take responsibility for anything.
We're
so
here.
now
He's still in the middle.
I can't accept. And I can't forgive.
Now we're here. And last but not least,
Right now. Said. I said stop right now.
boom.
Fine.
He's on the son's side now. He's telling the mom to stop. Obviously, he's telling both of them to stop, but the son doesn't do anything. The mom is having these reactions. Mom has to stop. He's looking at the mom when he's speaking this way. She gets up. She leaves. There's one last piece. There's one last piece I want to show you. Wait for it. Boom. He reaches over to touch his son's hand. That is how you know now that the dad chose the son's side. Also, when she leaves, obviously he can't be choosing the mom's side. Why? Because he never got up and went with her. So he's choosing the son. And he touches his hand. And now you know that he's on his side. In the beginning, obviously, telling Peter to stop. He's on the mom's side. Boom. As we slowly transition over, we see that he's on the dad's side. Last thing I want to speak on is the blocking. What blocking means for those that don't know. Blocking is where you place the actors, where the actors move. Basically, the movement, right? In the beginning of this scene, we see, obviously, because this is just the wide of it, but this is their placement, though, right? I'll go ahead and bring the mom back in the scene. We have the mom over here, the son over here, dad right here in the beginning of the scene, right? The dad is in the middle of them two. They are right across from each other. So that is where the power struggle happens and they fight each other, right? You only see this twice as far as where everybody is placed. And the first time we see it, if I can find it, is here. Why did they choose to do this? One, we wanted to see that struggle, that distance between the mom and the son. Also, we want to see that the dad is in the middle. Lastly, there's one thing, and I will show it for both frames, is that we see this extra chair. This extra chair is still there, which is where the daughter used to sit. That is there on purpose. Obviously, chair, people still leave their chairs there, what I'm saying, if they haven't, but that's still left there on purpose because we have this empty seat now. So we see that. And that maybe not necessarily why we chose to shoot this frame for the chair, but definitely this last one was purposely for the chair and obviously the mother to leave. But definitely you see that chair in this angle, you see it's so much more empty. It's farther away. It's more noticeable. Yes, it's noticeable, like I said, in this frame as well. But in this one, we see them two arguing, fighting. You might still notice the chair. Me personally, I don't think I really notice the chair in this when I first watched it. But when I did here, you can see that. So, guys, we just broke down a 3-minute scene in 44 minutes. It's crazy, right? It takes a lot to break down a scene. It takes a long time. This is just us breaking down the scene after it's done, by the way. Think of all the planning that producers have to do, first ADs have to do, you know what I'm saying? Whoever is on that committee of all those producers breaking down the script, budgeting, you know what I'm saying, to have all these props, the rentals, the place itself. That stuff takes months. It takes months to prep. And depending on if it's a commercial, TV show, movie, whatever it could be weeks. Could be might have to, unfortunately only have pre-production for few weeks. But other people, you know what I'm saying, you got months of prep. And this is the reason why. Even though it's 3 minutes, it's a lot to do in 3 minutes. A lot that needs to be done, a lot that needs to happen in those 3 minutes, a lot that it takes to create 3 minutes. This movie's over an hour and a half. So think of how long it takes to do that, guys. So I hope this was really cool. I really enjoyed this. I love filmmaking. I love films. I love movies. I love television. I love TV shows, animes, all that sort. Writing, storytelling. And I would love to break down more scenes for you. If you have a scene that you like, it doesn't matter what it is. It can be anything. You'd like me to break it down? Please let me know. I would be happy to break down the scene for you. Because I really did enjoy this. And it took 45 minutes of my time. I don't mind it, especially on the weekends, right? It's a Saturday. I'm fine staying in the house. I'm a homebody. All right. But anyways, guys, thank you for those who stay tuned this long. I really appreciate it. Please, if you have not already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you are watching this on TikTok or Instagram, please follow. Leave a follow. Share this with everybody you know. Other people that would enjoy these videos. Excuse me. Leave a comment on what scenes you'd like me to break down. If you'd like me to react to anime fights, any fights, movies, television shows, anything, give you my recommendations, by all means, please comment and reach out. And I thank you for all who have stayed tuned this long. Until next time.